What's up, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mid Condition, like my shirt that I got from Spread Shop says. And then this guy to my right is... Who are you, sir?
It's me, Marcus, aka the Mad Dog. Woof woof, everybody. I am really excited for this stream. I know that this is one that Mr. Omar's been trying to plan behind the scenes for a while now. We've been really excited to get this one to you. I'm hyped for it, he's hyped for it, and I hope you guys are hyped for it as well.
Absolutely. It's one that I know I've been asked to do because I've made so many announcements, and the announcements just drown on top of each other from time to time. So I figured we'd go ahead and make a list. There is a physical list available on the Patreon, and then I'll probably put a list in the YouTube description, as long as it lets me. Sometimes you can't put too much in the description without it just bursting or giving you some kind of warning. So we are mainly talking about reprints and talking about all the new books from June until what we know in February of 2022. So it's quite a number of books. There are two that come out next week that are not on the list, and that is, of course, The Incredible Hulk by Peter David Volume 3 and the Man-Thing Omnibus reprint. Two books I'm very excited to talk about, so be on the lookout on the channel for these videos right here. So let's go ahead.
I love that DM variant.
I don't know, man. I really enjoyed the 4-part Trojan War, and that's the standard edition. I like that one. Both of them are done by Gary Frank. They're both wonderful pieces of artwork. But yeah. So before we get started, Mad Dog, where can people find you when you're not helping me on the channel?
So I've got my own channel, Maddogg Comics. We're currently celebrating Image at the minute. A month just entirely dedicated to Image Comics. I've also got a live stream this Friday with my boy Comic Bound, who's there as well. We do the MDC where once a month we just get really drunk. That's pretty. Okay. And I believe that you might be joining me for one maybe next month if we can get it set up.
Absolutely.
Which should be fun as well. And me Instagram, me Twitter, always Maddogg Comics. 2 Ds, 2 Gs.
Awesome. So we'll let a few more people trickle in here. For those of you just now joining, this is just pretty much to help everybody out with what's coming out and what will be available from June of 2021 until February of 2022. There are a couple of more books, but I can't say anything yet. But they're not until next year. And as always, I do the monthly solicitations for Marvel. And I always tell people to join for that because sometimes Marvel likes to sneak in some things. Now, there is 3 restocks that are coming. These are not reprints. So I didn't add them to the list, but for those keeping tabs, I'm going to go ahead and talk about those. The very first one, I've announced this on the Saturday streams is when I talk about these things about as far as restocks. But for Marvel, the restocks are Absolute Carnage. Omnibus is being restocked on July 28th. And of course, these dates may change. Wolverine Omnibus Volume 1 is getting one final restock, and that is on August 21st. And Hulk by Peter David Volume 2 is getting a restock on September 21st. Now, we know there's a reprint of Hulk by Peter David Omnibus Volume 1 coming out next year, and Volume 4. Volume 3 comes out next week, so there you go. And Bob's your uncle? Is that what you all say? Is that what you guys say? Bob's your uncle?
It's what people think we say, so I'll just nod my head and agree.
Somebody needs to tell my wife. Somebody needs to tell my wife. Because she was all about Bob's your uncle. She's the one that taught me that. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. And we got big shout out to Mad Dog here for putting this together for me, for all of us, for our viewing.
Thanks for having me on. And as well, I just wanted to say, in the UK, we're coming out of lockdown at the minute, slowly. And over this last year, it's been such a weird year. But honestly, knowing that once a month I could sit down and watch the solicitation streams and talk about upcoming omnibuses, and as well, it's obviously in part due to David giving the information out. It's been something to really look forward to during all this lockdown stuff. So just wanted to say a big thank you for helping a lot of people get through all that. And I think other people might not have said it, but I'll say it on their behalf. It has really meant a lot.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you. And thank you for everybody that is tuning in now. Go and check out my buddy's channel here, Maddogg. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share this PowerPoint presentation, and we'll go ahead and get started here. And there we go. To make it bigger for everybody, I'm just going to hide myself and Marcus, and just for now.
We're still here, though. Don't worry.
Yeah. All right, so the very first thing we're going to be looking at is on June 2nd. And by the way, if you're just now joining, there will be written documentation available later. I'll be putting it in the description of the video, and our patrons already have it. So this is the X-Men Age of Apocalypse. It is a reprint. It is scheduled to come out on the 2nd of June, kicking off that month. And I don't think I need to say this, but just in case, the dates are always tended to change. Like always, like sometimes books are a week late, sometimes they're a couple months late, such as the case of Empire. Empire's been moved around 3 different times, but I think we finally have a date for that, and we'll look at that here in a little bit. Spider-Gwen coming out on the 9th of June with both covers. By the way, if you have questions, please leave them in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. We're looking at the content and release date. So the DM cover's on the right, and the standard edition cover on the left. This is the third printing of Age of Apocalypse. Spider-Gwen. So this, the direct market cover, which is freaking awesome on the right-hand side. A take on the third best-selling comic book of all time, which is Spider-Man #1 by Todd McFarlane. And then on the left-hand side is the standard edition cover. But this is to be released on June 9th. I don't know if you're being serious, Michael, but ash cans were a very popular thing back in the 70s, and they brought them back in the 90s. It's like a little preview with like black and white pages of things to come from the internal work of the comic. Oh my goodness. Here's one. And we're going to go back and talk about which ones we're most excited about, which covers we want to get, and everybody join in for that. So here we have on the 16th of June, Wolverine Omnibus Volume 2. 11 years in the making. Let me say that again. 11 years in the making. Crazy. But it is finally here. And if you've noticed, they have added the content of Havoc and Wolverine Meltdown, making this I think it would be T+ or MA now. So it's awesome with 3 different covers right here. Collecting Wolverine 11 through 30. So many good stories here. Archie Goodwin, John Byrne, Jim Lee covers. And yeah, we'll go back and talk about the covers here in a second. What was the second best-selling issue of all time? That would have been X-Force #1, only to be knocked out by X-Men #1 just a little bit later. Heroes Reborn is getting a reprint. It's almost like Marvel thought ahead of time, and they were going to have an event called Heroes Reborn this year. And to celebrate it, they were going to reprint the original Heroes Reborn. So this one also comes out on the 16th. And another reprint is the Age of Apocalypse Companion. So this collects pretty much the remaining issues that were not collected in the first omnibus, and then the ones that were kind of a follow-up to that series. Like you have the Blink miniseries, you have Issues from Exiles when they traveled. That's like the world tour. The new series that came out to celebrate 10 years of Age of Apocalypse, and that was all 6 issues of that. And the one shot, there's a What If, and then material from all these different books that are collected in here that have something to do with the Age of Apocalypse. All right, Power Pack Classic Volume 2, and this collects the remaining issues for that series, wrapping up that series. And this is the classic stuff. I think some people wanted to see the Gurihiru stuff collected in this, but I think this is just they're going with Power Pack Classic, hence the name. On the 30th, last day of the month, is Captain America by Dan Jurgens, collecting issues 25 through 50. So they did add that issue, as well as Captain America Annual 2000 and 2001, and material from Captain America the Legend. So
be looking forward to that one.
Asking, they did add that issue, so there's no orphaned issues between this and the Mark Waid run omnibus if you have it. Yeah, this is a series that I don't hear very many people talk about, but I dug it. I thought it was solid. Golden Age Captain America Omnibus Volume 2. This is another one that surprised me, but we're in the 80th anniversary of Cap. So yeah, this collects Captain America 13 through 24. And Star Wars, The Old Republic Volume 1, coming out on the first week of July. So this book is huge. This is one of their biggest omnis. And oh man, I love the DM cover is awesome.
Yeah. Like, that's one that I've got pre-ordered. There's no way that I saw that and I didn't even acknowledge the other cover. Like, I feel so bad for. I've never actually felt bad for a cover of a book, but I kind of feel bad for the standard release of that one because it's like it's a great cover in its own right, but compared to the other to the DM, it's just no competition.
So the Falco issue is 24. That was what was added. I made that announcement probably about, it was on the Saturday live stream. I got a message back from David and they decided to add it. So it is in there. We just didn't update the solicits. And according to, let's see, the Old Republic Standard Edition cover has changed. Interesting. I haven't seen that. But honestly, if it's like Dr. Aphra, some of these things change at the last minute. So if it's usually, especially if it's Star Wars. So he's saying the Standard Edition cover for the Old Republic. And then the other thing that I'm gonna double check something. The other thing that's difficult when looking at covers is that sometimes they use something called a placeholder. And the placeholder cover is just an image, like a stock image. So let's see if they have. Okay. So yeah, you're right. That is the Legends Epic Collection cover. Hopefully I like that one. So hopefully they'll keep that one.
Is it better than the DM if the DM was to stay the same?
It's got a lot more characters.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat. Give us an oversized hardcover of Empire and War of the Realms, just like the old days. Hope Marvel will release OHC for Heroes Reborn as well. Yeah, so far no mentions of OHCs, just omnis of the events. Thank you again, Tushar, for the super chat. Savage Sword of Conan, the original Marvel Years, Volume 5. With, of course, the Standard Edition cover on the left and the Direct Market cover on the right. Captain America Volume 3, coming out on July 7th. And you have the Standard Edition cover on the left and the Classic cover, the DM cover on the right-hand side. And this matches up directly to the Return of Jack Kirby Omnibus that came out. It was reprinted this year.
Is that John Romita Jr. doing the main cover?
I think so.
I hadn't seen that before the other day.
Wait, the Standard Edition cover or the Direct Market cover?
Yeah, the one on the left.
No. That's not JR. It's I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but it is not. And we're getting the Fantastic Four Volume 2 reprint coming out on the 14th. And Cosmic Ghost Rider coming out on the 21st of that month. The Direct Market cover is kind of cute. Loki with the super sexy Mark Brooks cover on the left-hand side for the Standard Edition that was changed. That is awesome. And they also changed the Direct Market of this one.
There's a lot of content in that one.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic Four Volume 3. And this, of course, is a reprint that comes out on the 28th. Let's see. Hold on a second. We have a suggestion here. You guys clearly know what you are doing, but I think it'd be fun to spice these videos up by pitting Omni buy against each other, debating which would you choose if you could have only one. We're going to be talking a little bit about that after we go through the whole list. But that is something like some of the questions that are going to be coming up. But thank you for the suggestions.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was.
And we will be also asking the chat what they think. What if Classics Volume 1 with 3 different covers? And I have to what if Jane Foster cover by Big John Buscema? Oh, I gotta have that one. That one's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is.
X Factor by Peter David Volume 1. So for the first time, we're getting an X Factor series by Peter David. And I love the fact that it's Volume 1. Meaning Volume 2 could be the X Factor investigations if this sells well enough. Death of Captain America. And this is coming out on August 4th. So this again being the reprint with a brand new direct market cover. And Marvel August 1961 is coming out on the August 11th, which is a good time to do it. So I don't think this one can be late. How about that?
Yeah.
I think this one will actually show up on time. And next up is Cloak and Dagger Volume 2, wrapping up the classic series of Cloak and Dagger, going all the way up to 1990.
This is one I'm really looking forward to as well.
Yeah, this has been moved already. So I think this was originally solicited for July, if I'm not mistaken, but it is now here in August. So August 18th is the Captain America by Rick Remender series. This is where you'll see, well, for the first time, you'll see Sam Wilson as Captain America during the end of this run. Aliens, the original Marvel Years, Volume 2 is coming out in August 18th. So I love the first one. I cannot wait for this one. There's so many good stories in here. And there's a lot of stories in this one that I have not read. And I have a fear that I'll probably read it cover to cover like I did the first one. And Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane, speaking about the third highest selling comic book of all time. This is where the image to Spider-Gwen came from. This cover right here to number 1. There's the cover to number 13. But, man, 3 covers for this omnibus reprint. Fantastic Four Volume 4, the new one. This is brand new, coming out on August 25th. I love the direct market cover, but holy crap, that image of the Fantastic Four celebration by Arthur Adams is perfection. Yeah, Lee, it's so good.
Is this the end of the
yes,
Jack Kirby? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, this takes us to the end of the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby era. Then we get Big John drawing some, and I think Roy Thomas that steps up. Cole the Destroyer coming out that same week. Big shout out to Rich. I don't know if he's watching or not. He noticed that was missing from. It was on my master list, but I didn't have it on the list that I put on Patreon. So big shout out to him, and also Chris. Chris emailed me about a couple of things that I was in the middle of changing. Cole the Destroyer coming out on the 25th. Now this is the comic book series, not to be confused with the black and white series that was more adult oriented. This is more, I don't want to say kid friendly because we're still talking about, the Destroyer, but still cool. No shout outs to Michael Emmons, though. No, not on this show. And now we have a date again for Empire, and Empire is now coming out on August 25th of this year. So again, the direct market cover and the standard edition cover. Omni should be a minimum of 30 issues, but then we wouldn't have Devil Dinosaur, man. or Elektra Assassin, and that needs to be an oversized format. Daredevil, speaking of Elektra, Daredevil by Charles Soule, omnibus coming out. And that is on the 25th. X-Men Inferno Prologue. So we have the classic standard edition cover, which was on the prologue. Now, this before was an OHC, and they're reprinting it as an omnibus. And we have the direct market cover, again by Arthur Adams, and it's glorious. The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5. So happy to see a Volume 5 on the spine of a classic character like this. And I hope they continue this tradition with Avengers, with Fantastic Four, with Uncanny X-Men, and so on. And I hope these books just keep selling, just to get more of these volumes up on the shelf. So this is the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5, collecting issues 143 to 180, and annuals of 10 and 11, and Nova number 12, which is the crossover. And I cannot wait. Is Inferno Prologue essential reading? If you're doing a chronological reading order of X-Men, absolutely. It's called that, but it's really just the orphaned issues that happen between Fall of the Mutants and Inferno. So it's after the event of Fall of the Mutants, you find out what the X-Men are doing, what X-Factor is up to, and then it all leads into X-Men Inferno Omnibus. So this makes me happy. I hope we see a volume 6 sometime. And I don't know if there's enough material definitely for 2 Omnis between that and the Roger Stern run. Or one big, huge Spider-Man Omnibus, volume 6, which would be insane. But hey, whatever. Conan the Barbarian, the original Marvel years, volume 6. Speaking of numbers on, I think this is the first time we've ever had a number 6 on the spine of a Marvel Omnibus. And that makes me so damn happy. Long gone are the days of Conan the Barbarian by Michael Fleischer. Like, instead, now they're just doing it as numbers. So that's really cool. I'm glad that that's they're doing that. Jessica Jones is getting a reprint in September, and that is the Alias reprint. Now, if you have the first printing, it is just called Alias. The second printing is when they renamed it to Jessica Jones Alias. So just keep that in mind. Hey, Omar, do you know how many Conan Omnis there's going to be from the original Marvel years? I don't. When I did my first video, I mentioned that perhaps there's going to be 12, up to 13, really, depending on how it's made. It's a lot. It's a lot. What If Classic Volume 2 with, again, 3 covers. So I think that's the editorials month cover. What If Dazzler was Herald of Galactus with Bob Layton, and the classic What If Wolverine had killed the Hulk. So this finishes out those classic years of What If. I almost said Alias. I guess it's classic to some, like you, right?
Yeah. But I wasn't old enough to read it when it was coming out.
Right. You had some questionable parents if they were letting you read it. The Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 3 is getting a reprint, which I'm very happy to see because this one only had 1 printing, and now this is the second printing, in case you missed it the first time. Omar, my wallet is dying. Please stop. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't stop.
Be a short show, though, wouldn't it?
I accidentally pre-ordered 2 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 3, pumping those numbers up. Rest in peace, my wallet. I'm sure you can sell it. I hope with reprints they don't print as many as new books, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Wow, this is a big book too. This is Star Wars Legends: Rise of the Sith. That I'm not the biggest fans of the prequels, but that Darth Maul cover is everything. That is awesome. He's not even showing his dual lightsaber. He's just showing part of it. Oh, it's awesome.
So where's this sort of fit in? Is it just before episode 1, I'm assuming?
Episode 2.
Oh, okay.
So you got some stuff in here before episode 1, and then some stuff before episode 2. Or no. This is before episode 1, and then I think some of the tales of happened during. There's a lot in here I have not read. A lot. I've only read the Qui-Gon Jinn series and Obi-Wan series.
Yeah.
Young Avengers is getting a reprint with 2 new covers. I think the original standard edition was the Brian Lee O'Malley cover, but that's been replaced by the Jamie McKelvey cover, and then the Jimmy Chung cover is now the direct market cover. I'm so desperate for more Star Wars Legends stuff. Keep watching. Maybe they're coming. Maybe. Don't forget to hit that like button. Cole the Conqueror, the original Marvel years. So this wraps up Cole. So there was only a set of 3 series. One, which is the magazine. The other one is Cole the Destroyer. And this wraps up Cole's time at Marvel Comics for the classic years. Whether they bring the character back or not, I don't know.
Have you seen Comic Bones comment about the Star Wars DM?
DM cover stands for that mall cover. Why the Transformers is the Omni only 16 issues long? Which this one here, or the the one before this?
I think it was Young Avengers.
Oh, Young Avengers. That's the way it always was. The original one was also 16 issues. Call it a OHC, call it an omnibus. It doesn't matter. They're still going to be the same price. The Wedding of Cyclops and Phoenix is $125, and it's an oversized hardcover. And me being the OCD person that I am, would rather have omnibus on my spine than just Marvel's logo on there. But maybe that's just me. Back to this is the Darth Vader by Soul. So that comes out on the 20th, and I'm sorry, that's October 20th. And collecting the Charles Soule run, which has been previously released in oversized hardcovers and in trade paperbacks.
That's such a great DM again. Like the Star Wars DM departments,
I'm okay
working overtime.
I'm okay with this one here. Like both of them are awesome.
Yeah,
both of them are great pictures here. Captain Britain, the expanded edition. I should have let you say it. What is this, Marcus?
It's Captain Britain Expanded Edition. For the first time since when did the first print come out? Was it 2010?
2011. Hold on. Marcus, can you talk about this? What it is and what?
Yeah, sure. So this is the classic sort of foundation years of Captain Britain. So you've got some great writers like Alan Davies. Alan Moore does a large stint of it, and I'm actually wondering if they're going to put Alan Moore's name in it. Anybody who's been following omnibuses should know that this has been the whaliest whale for people for the longest amount of time. This is one that you can't really afford to sleep on. Like what I've been saying this entire past year is that if there's any of these reprints that you were looking at, the reprints need to be top of your priority list because of like what Mr. Omar just said, that they don't print them in the same numbers. So this is one that I don't think any of you can afford to sleep on at all. And honestly, I can't blame people if they bought both covers, if I'm being real with you.
What I hope they do with this one here is that I hope the spines have the classic Alan Davis covers from the original one. Young Avengers, thank you, Greg. Young Avengers standard cover was McKelvey, and then DM was Brian Lee O'Malley. Thank you, sir. Did you call me Mr. Omar? You call me Mr. Omar, and I'll let that slide.
It's just habit because, like, I don't know why, but in my job, like, some people, because obviously I talk to people from all across the globe. It's like a sign of respect. So I don't know why. Like even before I had my own channel, like I'd be saying to Shadowcat, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Omar's put another video out." So now it's like trying to untrain it out my own head. But it is a respect thing, so don't worry. Like it's not like a disrespect.
Makes me sound like a college professor, but I really appreciate it. Why is Captain Britain so popular? I hope all the Brits in the chat are answering the question for you right now.
It's because there's him and him.
And I love that this comes out a week before Excalibur Volume 2, where you will also find Captain Britain. You have the DM cover by Joe Mad over there, and then that is some early Joe Mad. And I mean early, like he was 16 years old when he drew that. And then you have Alan Davis on the standard edition cover, which is the return of him on the arc, and that is issue 42. We got you. Okay, now they're talking about British superheroes. We got Union Jack as well. Savage Sword of Conan, the original Marvel Years, Volume 6.
Marcelo just said he needs somebody to sell him on Captain Britain. I did a video that's just telling you who Captain Britain is, so that people, if you don't know who he is and you want to know if he's a character that you might be interested in, there's that. So hopefully it might help you decide. Or if not, at least you can spend your money on another book that you might want.
That's gotta get that Big Ben variant. I don't know, Maddogg and his Big Ben trivia. Thank you. This one here, holy crap! Both of these are awesome. I think on the left-hand side, that's Dan Panosian, and then the classic Joe Jusko cover. Both of these are gorgeous covers. I loved it. Hold on a second. I missed the Excalibur Volume 1 that recently re-released. No re-release for that one yet. I don't have a date for a re-release of that. But I'm pretty sure with the popularity, let's go back to that, of Excalibur, maybe they'll probably sneak in a restock for before Excalibur Volume 2 or sometimes during the summer. As soon as I find out, I promise to let you all know. I usually talk about that kind of stuff on my Saturdays Q&A. Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1. Here's a big one for a lot of people. Marcus, this would be classic for you, right? Tell me why you're excited about this.
The Ultimate Spider-Man was the first comic that I ever brought, and I remember seeing it in. I saw it on one of the spinning racks at my comic shop, and because I was about 11, I think I told this story on your channel before, but I thought that was like basically Amazing Fantasy 15, and they just were selling it at cover price. So I brought it thinking that as pardon, sorry?
It is to a lot of people. You're right. I mean, that book was huge when it came out.
Oh man, I'm so I love all three covers as well. Wait, if this one's going to come down to the spine for me. like whatever the spine is, I'm gonna. Which cover are you looking at most?
I like the Venom cover. Please buy this book, lads. We need Volume 2. That's right. That's how Volume 2s happen. I love it. I like it's either Volume 2 or the Venom one or the Joe Quesada cover. I really like that. Both of those are gorgeous.
I think as well, like Bagley, I can't remember if it was Bagley himself who said it, but he made notes on what the difference is between drawing Ultimate Spider-Man and drawing like 616 Spider-Man.
It had to be Bagley then.
But that Quesada cover is the only one that's sort of come close to, getting the sort of leanness of him. So they're all so good.
Yeah. Even this computer generated colors that we're trying at the time. It's definitely a product of its time. But good journey to all the people that want these and want a Volume 2. Hope you all get it. Captain America Lives, reprinting the Ed Brubaker. This is Volume 3 and the Ed Brubaker readathon of Captain America. I have not heard word of the Trial of Captain America or the Return of Winter Soldier being reprinted. As of this video, though, those are pretty accessible. I think one's getting a little more expensive, but they're not super out of print. So I don't know. I haven't heard, like I said, if they're going to reprint those or not. Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman, Volume 1, one of the most asked for reprints on this channel ever since Marvel started talking to me. So for about 2 years now, I've been asked, hey, when is Marvel going to do this? They need to do this. And it's finally here, coming out on the 17th of November. By the way, I need to go back to this really quick. I have this down as the 1st of November, but that's going to change. We don't have a for sure date. And when we look at the 2022 books coming out, we don't know exactly when they're going to come out. We're just going by the month date. And again, all of this is subject to change. Not the book cancellations, just reshuffling of the calendar. So FF by Jonathan Hickman, Volume 1. No sign of a Volume 2 yet, but you all voted for that in your top 20 most wanted Marvel reprints. So we will see what happens with that list. Wolverine and the X-Men. Speaking of most wanted Marvel reprints, this was last year. This was voted on our most wanted top 10. Coming out on, well, I think again, this is just, it's coming out in December. That's all I know so far. Wolverine and the X-Men 1 through 35, skipping the Battle for the Atom, and then annual number 1. The Mighty Thor Volume 1. A classic Silver Age reprint coming. And for those of you wanting a Volume 2, you know what you got to do. Same thing that these cats are doing with their Ultimate Spider-Man, buying multiple copies, I guess, for everybody. But this is the classic stuff with a brand new direct market cover. X-Men Mutant Massacre reprint coming out in December with the standard edition cover on the left and the whoops, I announced the wrong cover, Omar cover on the right-hand side, where I accidentally said that was the direct market cover, and David said, you know what, keep it. That's okay. Let's go with that. It's a classic cover, man. It's Alan Davis. It's awesome.
You should do that again and see if it works again. Like, just announce the wrong omnibus and be like, New Warriors Volume 3, and see if he's just like, yeah, I think.
The Howard Duck by Chip Zdarsky is also coming out that month. This one here retails for $60. I don't know if anybody noticed that or not. When I originally announced it, I think it was $100 is what was showing, but it is now the $60. That's probably the cheapest omnibus I've seen. New Mutants Volume 2. So hyped for this one. Coming out December 15th is the date. Collecting the rest of Chris Claremont's run right before Louise Simonson took over the book. And then collecting the Asgardian storyline, Power Pack issues, Fallen Angels 1 through 8. I don't think there are a lot of people excited about that. I don't care. It's in there. I'd be mad if they didn't put it in there. And Firestar. More importantly, Firestar 1 through 4. If you watch my segment, Map My X, we were off by one comic book when we were mapping this particular volume. And that is The War Children, because that was written years later. So that wasn't fair. X-Men by Jonathan Hickman. Omnibus. This is another one that shocked me. This one doesn't have the X tax on it. This is only $75 for this omnibus. So keeping it down on the low. Don't tell anybody. X-Men by Jonathan Hickman Omnibus coming out in December. And, oh yes, when we're looking at the 2022 calendar, again, we're just going, look at the month, don't look at the actual dates, because they're wrong. So, New Warriors Classic Volume 2. Whoa, man. Now, there is one thing that's missing in here, and that's the Justice miniseries. That could be read between issues 52 and 53. But I don't know if that means, hey, there's enough for third material, which there totally is. But I guess we'll find out if they decide to add that later. Doctor Strange Volume 1 with a brand new DM variant for the reprint and the classic Alex Ross. War of the Realms a no-go. I cannot say right now. All I can say is stay tuned. Omar, from now on, Marvel should add their spine variants along with the covers. I hate that they changed the spine variants. Dude, who put Dazzler? No, dude, people love Dazzler. I love Dazzler. I think sometimes that I've asked for that, or that's something I'm asking for, and something I'm suggesting to put in. But sometimes it's like last minute changes. Like when Defenders was originally announced, when I got the covers and I had the entire dust jackets from Marvel, there was no image on the bottom. It was just the Defenders. See, now people are going to be taken up for Dazzler. Omar blinked twice for reprints. Okay, I just did. I threw the biggest hint out there with my mannerisms. All right, Doctor Strange Volume 2. So many people excited for this one, and I know a lot of people want the follow-up series to that too, with Steve Englehart, Roger Stern, Chris Claremont. Be great. And let me tell you a funny story about this. So this is the Knights of Pendragon. I can't think of very many people here in the United States. Like, the difference in excitement was so crazy. When I announced this, a day later I went on Twitter and I was like, holy crap, why is my video being shared in one particular group? And it was nothing but a bunch of Brits just going, oh my God, my childhood's coming true. Meanwhile, here in America, most people are like, why are they wasting their time with this crap? They should be doing Thor by Jason Aaron Omnibus. And over there, overseas, man, you guys were going nuts. Like, I can't wait for this. Like, I've never read any of this stuff. So even the Mystech Wars, I think that came out here. But there's so many people that are excited for this overseas. So that's really cool. And I'm not going to say that there's no one here in the United States that's not excited for this, but most of the excitement came from overseas. So the people that were mad here, I was like, look, we get like 100 Omnis to their one. Let them have their minute. Don't hate on them. All right. The Incredible Hulk by Peter David Omnibus Volume 2, or Volume 4, baby. So collecting the rest of Peter David's run on the Incredible Hulk. And I think, wait, that's a misprint. That should, I can't change it now, but that should be technology. It's not like I was in IT for 20 years. But But this is going to be another big book, and this wraps up his run in Volume 1. Now, he does come back later on, so there is stuff for a companion like Hulk the End or Tempest Fugit or all the Maestro series he's been working on. X-Men Volume 1 getting a reprint, another huge book off of our very first top 20 most wanted Marvel reprints, and they kicked it off with X-Men Volume 1. Doctor Strange by Jason Aaron getting an omnibus coming in February. Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme Volume 3 wrapping up that particular series. All right, so before we go any further, I am asking about the Joe Casey issues on Peter David's run, even though some people think no, and then some people are like yes, or they're going to be orphaned. I'm kind of caught in between because it's Peter David. They have no reason to be there, and honestly, they're not that necessary. But as a completist, and you all know me by now, I think, yeah, of course I want them in there. Otherwise, they're going to be, they'll be in the Epic collections whenever they get to it. But I don't know. It's something I'm going to be asking about. And then Invaders coming out in February as well. X-Men Volume 2 reprints and also in February. Got the John Cassidy cover and the classic cover here to the right. Thunderbolts Volume 2. Yes. And enough material for a Volume 3, which was voted in the Ural's top 50 most wanted Marvel Omnis. The Incredible Hulk by Peter David reprint coming out in February with both of the covers. McFarlane is the DM cover. And the Incredible Hulk Volume 1 reprint. So, Silver Age. Silver Age Hulk is getting a reprint. Now, don't forget to hit that like button. And we'll go back through this again in case people missed it or if you have questions. But I'm going to stop sharing for a second. At this moment, yes, just want to remind everybody to hit that like button, please. So, I am going to be making some more announcements because, but not today. Of course, that all has to be approved by Marvel. So, and I don't have the suit, but there's a set of Marvel Masterworks that I have a list of, and a list of Marvel Epic collections. But more importantly, the complete list for January. There is one more in February. And then March. And I think March and April are going to excite a lot of people.
That's all. Reprints or new releases? Or both.
A little of both. So I think, March and April are going to be pretty exciting. So any new OHCs, I have asked for a list. I don't have that list yet. So as soon as I get it, I will, and as soon as Marvel lets me. You tease. Well, all I can say is that there's no Spider-Man in there. So, if you like Spider-Man. Did I miss the Alien Suit Saga Omnibus announcement? Are you living in the future? Like, how do you know about that? Do you have any idea how many Aliens Omnibus we might get? I'm thinking there should be enough material for 4 and then an Aliens versus Predator. You're the best, Omar. No, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. When's the swimsuit omnibus getting announced? I expect Speedos weren't. I don't want, you know what? I've changed my mind about the swimsuit omnibus. I don't want a swimsuit omnibus. I want a slip case of monster-sized Marvel swimsuit editions, 5 volumes, with the possibility of pull-out posters. There we go. Man, don't make me go down the list. I'm not falling for that. I just said no Spider-Man. It's a big enough hint. All right, I'll throw another. I don't know what other hint y'all want in there.
The name and the author of the book, maybe.
I'm not going to say rhyme. Rhymes with next, man. Nothing like that. All I can say is I can say that some of you all have guessed right in the chat. I've been keeping an eye in the chat, and some of you, not all of you, have guessed right. Except for the guy that guessed Super Pro. Sorry. That's not coming. I don't know anything about that. Batman by Scott Snyder Volume 2 that comes out at the end of this year, I think in November. Wait, this is a Marvel thing. Yeah, if you all want us to do this with DC, by all means, please let us know. We'll be happy to do this. Because it is hard to keep tabs on everything, especially when the announcements are coming 4 times a month. And I figured I'd do this for you all. And no Alf. That God bless. I can say no Alf. Yes. Rhymes with next man. Nth man. I wish. That was one that David laughed at, and I was like, "What? There's 20 of us that want that." Thank you, Omni Nation. I'm making sure David hears me. We need that Hulk by Bruce Jones. Omni ASAP. Come on, Marvel. A Gwenpool Omni. I don't know. Does it rhyme with Gal of the New? I don't. Guys, stop it. I'm not confirming anything. I gave you a hint. What the hell was it? I don't even remember what the hint was. All right. So there's a lot of books for you keeping tabs. There's a lot of books. So far, we're looking at a list of 63, not including the 3 restocks I mentioned. So please do this for old publishers. Sure. Yeah, we can do that. You want to do that again, Marcus? You want to talk about like DC?
Yeah, for sure. DC's like, honestly, I think somebody said it. We're in the proper golden age of omnibus at the minute. Like, it's almost as if Marvel shows their hand, and then DC's come out with, Batman by Scott Snyder 2, Green Arrow by Mike Grell volume. Do you know what I mean? We're proper in the golden age. So yeah, I'm down for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's do it. I don't think there's that many DCs. I think because they're doing like 1 omnibus a month.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'd still be fun to talk about it, and we can break it down. I will say, if you tune into the channel, and God bless you all for being here, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button. But the announcements are sure to, make some thunder.
And congrats on getting. I saw you got 45K.
Oh, thanks, man.
I was like, whoa.
Really
I swear I blinked yesterday, and it was like 44.5. So like, it's just mad how quick the channel's growing.
I really appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a blessing, and just to see it gradually grow, it's good. It's good. Hype for No Man's Land Volume 2. Volume 2? What do you know? Jesse, have they announced that?
Can you imagine if this is when DC dropped their announcements, like whilst we're doing this?
Right now, I think he's making a video announcement. That would be messed up. Omar with the subtle hints. That's all I do, man. Subtlety. That's my middle name. All right, guys, we're going to quickly go through this list again in case you missed it, and then we can all chat about what we're all excited for. All of us. All of us. Omar said Thunder. now people are going to be like, that means Jason Aaron Omnibus. I love it. You guys said Thunder, man. It could mean Thunderbolts Volume 2. Didn't you pay attention? Come on now. All right, let's go ahead and start again. I'm going to present, and this time Marcus and I will be in here talking about these books. So
I'm going to keep a mental tally of like my top 5 and like DM cover of the year so that we can talk about that after as well.
All right, so really quick, X-Men Age of Apocalypse. We're going to go through one by one, and you guys tell me if you have any questions about these particular ones I'm talking about. So I did get that. I got the super chat, James. Thanks for keeping out, buddy. I got the super chat. It was more of a super chat for David, though, not for me. He wanted David to know about that Hulk by Bruce Jones omnibus. Yeah, he's making sure that David hears him about it. So this is an exact reprint. This is the 3rd omnibus, the 3rd reprint of this particular book. Hey, Marcus, how you doing? I came in late. What I missed? Well, you came just on time, man, because I'm going through these again. Except this time we're going to kind of go through them quicker and talk a little bit about this. Okay, so for me, that DM cover, man, that's Joe Mad. I love it. For some reason, I never got my first printing is the Mark Brooks cover, or I'm sorry, Billy Tan cover. But I always wanted the DM cover. So, what about you, Marcus? Any fond memories of this, or have you read this?
I have read this just before the Apocalypse film came out, because that was the first time they reprinted the omnibus, and it was the first time I'd seen them reprint anything since maybe like Punisher Max. Not Punisher Max, just Punisher Marvel Knights. So I've got like good memories with this. I think it's a bit tricky for more modern readers, but I enjoyed it, I can't lie.
DM or standard?
I go standard, but I think they're both great covers.
And anybody in the chat, please let me know which one you're like which one you like it. Omar, why did Marvel did not include Rise of Apocalypse storyline and companion omnibus? I thought it was essential to have it. It has nothing to do with the Age of Apocalypse, though. It's more of the origin of Apocalypse. If anything, I think a dream map for me would probably be add that to X Factor in the way that they added Weapon X to Wolverine Volume 1, but that is just me. So, yep, you have the direct market covers, the Joe Mad cover, and then the standard edition cover is going to be the Billy Tan cover here, which was done for the 10th anniversary, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Spider-Gwen. For this one, man, it's the direct market. That's classic. That is awesome. That is
I got that on pre-order.
That's great. So this is one that they had an oversized hardcover format, but they never released it volume 4. So they just they decided to wrap it up. I guess the sales of the oversized hardcovers weren't that great, but they know that omnibus sales are better. Wolverine Volume 2. Now, this one was tough for me because I love Barry Windsor Smith. This is an iconic John Byrne image during his run with Archie Goodwin. But I went with the standard edition cover for this one because that is Jim Lee, and that's the cover to the video game. That is the cover for the issue that I would take to school, and my friends did not believe that was Wolverine because he didn't have his mask on. They were like, dude, that's not Wolverine. Wolverine has like this Batman face. And I was like, what? You guys are stupid. They didn't read comics. But I love it. Somebody called him that. I don't like Super Saiyan 3. Comic Bound. That is classic Barry Windsor Smith, Weapon X Wolverine. Granted, Weapon X does not show up in this omnibus, but yeah, Jim Lee for me. What about you, Marcus? Any of these speak to you?
Yeah, the Jim Lee. I'm a massive Jim Lee fan. I'm researching into him at the minute for something I've got planned. That's a phenomenal cover, and it's not to disrespect the other two, but I genuinely thought when you showed this in the solicitation, I was like, that Jim Lee cover is going to be a DM, isn't it? But I'm so glad. Standard. But we're living in a different time now where DMs, like I'm thinking of the case of Infinity Crusade. The DM, the standard edition went out of print before the direct market cover. The same thing happened to there was another omnibus I cannot recall. So there is a chance that the standard edition cover will go out of print. By the way, all of these are out of print in the direct market, though. Like Diamond is out of print. So hopefully you all will get it. And when I say out of print in the distribution, I mean just distributors are out of print. Doesn't mean that in-stock trades or cheap graphic novels did not order enough. Just letting everybody know, though. I feel like his claws look too small on the last one. The Barry Windsor.
Oh, because he was just learning to be Weapon X. That's the origin of Weapon X, man.
Fair play. It's just every time I look at that image, I'm just like, it's like Batman. I don't like Batman with short ears. He has to have proper long ears. So that's just sort of where I'm at.
All right, Heroes Reborn reprint with a brand new direct market cover by Jim Lee. And then that is the Brett Booth standard edition cover that was originally in the first printing. So do you have any preferences here or anybody in the chat? You have good memories of Heroes Reborn? This is an interesting era when Marvel decided to lend out their heroes to the image creators that had previously left Marvel.
I skipped this first time round because obviously I just didn't have a lot of money when it first came out. And I didn't know whether I picked up this time because since then I've got obviously like Thor by Dan Jurgens, I've got Captain America by Mark Waid, and I'm like, am I missing this in my collection now? But then I'm also going to have to buy Heroes Reborn the Return, so it's like I'm causing myself more spending just by picking this one up. Like,
Omar, he was 5 years old. I know, I'm sorry. But I wasn't even born when the Silver Age stuff came out. I still have recollections of reading that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Really bad memories of this period of Marvel comics. I don't know who I was talking to that loves this era of just this particular books. Marcus, can you take over for a second?
Yeah, for sure. I'll have a look for the comments. I can't highlight comments, but I'll still have a look through them. What have we got going on here? When I do a stream, there's not nearly this many people, so I'm not used to the comments going this quick, so you might just have to bear with me for 2 secs. We want Maddog's shirt. Oh, yeah, it's just a Daredevil shirt that I got. I'll just show you real quick. I'm still wearing like pajama bottoms, so I'm not really going to stand up too fully. But yeah. Got to keep hydrated. Got to keep that hydration going. It's quite funny. Every time I do a stream and I'm on my own, I just panic. Like immediately. Like it's like DEFCON. Like it's DEFCON 1 the important one or DEFCON 5. Actually, they're both probably not great. So I'm not sure which one that is, but yeah, I panicked straight away as soon as I'm like, oh no, talking 2 million miles an hour.
We had somebody working on our central air because of course it broke the day I decided to do a live stream. Power Pack Classic Volume 2, and this wraps up the Power Pack era, the classic era. So I'm happy for this. This is I love when a series is finished in one format. Gives me a lot of hope for future books. Anybody else excited about this? I know there's a couple of people that watch my channel that were like, yeah, and some other people were like, how dare they do this before? Fill in the blank. How dare they do this before Jonathan Hickman reprints? And those are coming. Now it's something else, I'm sure. Captain America by Dan Jurgens. Again, they did add that issue 24 in there. So there we go. Jesse's excited. Jesse's excited.
Which cover year?
First of all, how dare you, Stuart? No, I'm not a baby. Really? This is not the Pet Avengers Omnibus. This is Power Pack. But both these covers are great. But I think I tend to like the one on the right, and I think that's from the Legend, if I'm not mistaken. If you haven't read Wade's run, can you read Jurgens? Yeah, you can. You can. Wade wraps up a lot of his loose ends are wrapped up by the end of his run. Golden Age Captain America, love that cover both covers are great. The Remender cover is awesome. Star Wars. So it looks like they've changed this one, as somebody had stated earlier in the chat. But so they changed the standard edition cover to the volume 1 of the epics. So Knights of the Old Republic, and a lot of people speak highly of this era. But this is huge, though, because this begins the legends, the classic stuff, or what some people call the non-canon Star Wars, even though you still read it, so it's all in your head, what is canon and what is not. But this is what the Dark Horse years were. So this means a lot to a lot of people. Power Packs for Kids, although I felt like a giant man baby reading Silver Age X-Men beside my wife in bed last night. Don't let her shame you. Savage Sword of Conan, the original Marvel years, Volume 5. Very excited for this one. And again, all this will be in a written documentation available later. KOTOR is right now, what I saw was $150 or $125 retail price is what I saw. KOTOR is what the cool kids call Knights of the Old Republic. Marcus, I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, because I remember the game, but I've never read any of that material, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
Nerdventure Time, thank you for joining us. Go take care of your little girl. Captain America Volume 3, and this matches nicely up to the Jack Kirby Omnibus. So we have all the Silver Age collected into the Modern Age, or Bronze Age, whatever age this is. Fantastic Four Volume 2. This is a prequel to the game. And
I thought you meant Fantastic Four Volume 2. I was like,
no.
Which game?
KOTOR, and because of the games, why people call it KOTOR. Interesting. And Fantastic Four Volume 2 is getting the reprint in July. Over 50 issues worth of stuff. How is that not super expensive? Dude, Adam, keep it down, man. Let it slide. It's cool. We'll keep it between us. Cosmic Ghost Rider coming out in July, containing pretty much the chronological order of the character that appeared throughout the Donny Cates issues, including all his appearances in the Marvel Universe. And that kind of starts a trend, and so does Loki. Loki also doing a chronological appearance in all his early appearances. Hopefully they'll keep going with this into modern. That'd be really cool. I like this because it gives me hope that they'll do other villains too, like Doctor Doom, even though David was in the chat kind of hinting that a couple of weeks ago. And I like that because it gives like somebody that wants to know everything there is to know about a particular character. So Michael David Gabriel. Oh my god, he's right. 50 issues should cost more. Thanks for alerting me. So I told him, okay, so to be fair, you're right. It started with Ven Omnibus, but Ven Omnibus he's not really a hero, right? He's more like an anti-hero. I like the villain stuff. Not that I guess Cosmic Ghost Rider is too, but I don't want to give away what he is in case people haven't read it. Thoughts on Gillen's Loki reprint? I haven't seen one. I haven't heard of one, but I
think they would have done though.
Love Journey into Mystery, yeah, and it just went out of print at the tail end of last year, so it's probably why most people ended up having them, unless they started buying Omnis, at the beginning of this year or late last year. Just wasn't on the radar. Venom is a monster. He's a symbiote, whatever the heck the movie calls him. Fantastic Four Volume 3 reprint. And again, both covers, the DM on the right and the standard edition on the left.
What's your sort of thoughts on... I always like hearing people's different opinions on this, because I've noticed this. Like Fantastic Four Volume 1, the Kirby cover was the standard. Volume 2, Kirby's the standard. But Volume 3, Ross is the standard and Kirby's the variant. And Volume 4, it's the same way round. Would you have to go standard, DM, all DM or all standard? Or do you not care?
I went with whatever cover. Most of my all my Fantastic Four covers have been the standard edition. So I'm good with that. I know there are purists out there that only like original artwork in their omnibus like this from the Silver Age, which is cool. Does not make their opinion invalid. I just prefer artwork I'm not going to see on the inside, on the outside. That makes sense, because I am going to see that cover on the inside of the omnibus.
That's how I feel about the Conans as well, because it's like if I don't get the standard covers, which have that new art, I'm not going to see it. It might have a page in the back, but I don't know that until I buy the book or watch your overviews.
So to me, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll buy whichever one that I like, whatever cover. Most of the time, like I said, it's the standard edition that happens to be the modernized cover, with the exception of Conan, the original Marvel years, because that John Cassidy cover was not for me.
I got that for like 25 quid in this ridiculous Amazon Germany sale, and that's what set me on the course of getting all the standard covers, because I was only buying Savage at that time, but because of how cheap it was, I had to pick that up, and then I was like, oh, I'm in full 12 now, aren't I? So.
Yeah, now you got to get all of them. So this is a good counter argument. The cover has to be representative of the material in the book. I mean, yes and no. I mean, there are definitely people that agree with Omnibuddy. To me, I see the spine more than I ever see the cover, and I take the dust jackets off when I read. But then some are very important. Oh my gosh, that direct market cover on this, though. That's the classic. It's not so. The original printing of this is recolored. This is the classic colors that they put back in. So that's awesome. And then Amazing Spider. If interesting enough, though, the Amazing Spider-Man covered issue 301, that looks to be recolored. But this is going back to the classic colors here of Amazing Spider-Man 300. Do you have this one?
I don't. I've read the material in it, though, like when I was first getting into comics, because I loved Todd McFarlane. And I had a really good time with this one. But I didn't pick up the... is it Eric Larson? Did Eric Larson have an omnibus after? And it's got Deathlock on the cover. I think it was Eric Larson, but I didn't pick that one up because this and the standard McFarlane omnibus had gone out of print, and then these two got re-announced. I was like, great, I'll buy the Eric Larson one. Can't find it now, so I'm hoping that the Eric Larson one gets announced for a reprint as well, so that I can, bridge that gap.
Yeah, I noticed that one's out of print. So they have this one and then Adjectiveless Spider-Man by McFarlane. Both of them are coming back into print. What if Classic Volume 1? What if the original Marvel bullpen had become the Fantastic Four? Or what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? And funny how both of these bookend titles have happened. X Factor by Peter David, Volume 1. So collecting, this double dips some with the X-Men Fatal Attractions, double dips a little bit with Shattershot and the Wedding of Cyclops and Phoenix. But I think Marvel has come to realize that not everybody gets everything. So there are people that are just going to get this based on Peter David's name or based on the fact that this is X Factor. Omar, how hasn't Marvel made an Ultimate X-Men Omnibus yet? I don't know, man. People really love that. I have the OHCs. I love the artwork. The stories they're stories. Yes. X Factor Volume 2. And X Factor Volume 2, and see, that's one thing too. Like, I was hoping this would take us all the way to 106 to map perfectly with the Phalanx Covenant in 107. But so I don't know how those issues will be collected. Regardless, it's Peter David. I get it, but I hope that we do get collections like that later. Is House of M getting an omnibus? I've not heard about that one. I agree with Ultimate X-Men that we need an omnibus. Yeah, I'm sure that will come. I'm sure that they will gauge the sales of the Ultimates reprint and Ultimate Spider-Man 1 and say, well, maybe we need to reprint more of this Ultimate universe. Death of Captain America reprint with a brand new cover by Steve Epting for the direct market, and then the classic cover here for the standard edition. Marvel August 1961, collecting a lot, and I mean a lot, of issues that have never been collected before that came out in the month of August of 1961, hence the title. Cloak and Dagger Volume 2, also wrapping up that era. Have you read any Cloak and Dagger, or you know who they are?
I know who they are because of the TV show that they had, but I haven't read anything of them, and I didn't pick up Volume 1 of this, and I wasn't sure if maybe it was like a hidden gem that I'm missing out on. So, is it worth picking up if I wasn't reading it actively when it was coming out?
There's a lot of good artwork in here. So you have the Larry Stroman cover here, and you have the Rick Leonardi cover. I was very fond of this era because some of my favorite artists like drew a lot of this, like Mike Mignola, and you had Arthur Adams and Larry Stroman, Rick Leonardi supplying a lot of the artwork, and you had Bill Mantlo writing. So I really like that. Omar, why did they double dip issue 25 in both Cap Brubaker 1 and Death of Cap Omni? Because straight up, they're just reprinting the exact same omnibus, and that's how they had to map the first one, so that whatever files they use in the first one is exactly what we're going to see in this one, in this reprint. So it was the early days of Marvel Omnis back then. I think they would have mapped it differently if they were to do it now. And honestly, they probably would have made it 3 Omnis instead of 5 these days. Where's the Predator Omnibus? That has been resolicited. I can't announce anything yet, but it is not canceled. So rest assured it is not canceled. It is coming eventually.
Looking forward.
2022.
You're looking forward to... I know obviously you've had a good time with the Aliens Omnibus. Are you more of an Aliens guy or a Predator guy? Like, not just the comics, but like overall?
Overall, Aliens. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Aliens more. Predator's a lot more fun. Like, I have a lot more fun with the Predator 1 movie. And honestly, I think I'm one of the few people that love Predator 2. Because Predator 2 is the reason why Bill Paxton has been killed by a Terminator, an alien, xenomorph, and a Predator.
Doesn't have good luck, does he?
No, he was one of my favorite actors, man. I love that guy. My wife actually, she works with his brother, with Bill Paxton's brother, or I'm sorry, he lives where my wife works, at the residence home.
Mm.
And he was, when Bill Paxton passed away, man, he was really upset. I was upset. Captain America by Rick Remender. So somebody was asking earlier what I thought about this, or what we thought about this series. Have you read this particular era by Remender of Cap?
Yeah, this was when I was into single issues, so for me there is quite a bit of nostalgia here. If I remember right, because obviously it's like near enough 10 years ago, though, it had like a weird sci-fi kind of vibe to it for part of it. But yeah, I actually liked Falcon Cap whilst it was happening. Like, I know anytime you change anything, there's always going to be people who like it and people who don't like it. I was like, yeah, cool. So I have really fond memories of this, and I don't know which cover to get, because even though I'm not a massive John Romita Jr. fan on the whole, that's a gorgeous cover. But the other's a gorgeous cover, and I think it's more representative of the series. So,
and
yeah,
that happened towards the end of the series, if I remember right. Like in issue 25 was something happens, obviously, and then we get all new Captain America. It started really strange for me. Because I like it, though. I like when characters are taken out of the norm and out of their element. So we get that Dimension C's storyline.
Yeah.
So yeah, both covers are good with me. I like both covers on this one. Aliens, the original Marvel Years, Volume 2. That DM cover is awesome, because that is the type of artwork you see inside of the book. So where's Omnibuddy? Is he still here? Because I agree with that one there. I guess it's case by case with me, depending on the book. So I love it. It's freaking awesome, and I hope we get 4. I hope we get Aliens versus Predator Omnibus. I'm ready. Somebody was asking if I had read the Archie Goodwin one. I have not. Oh, Lance Henriksen has also been killed by all 3: an alien, a Terminator, and a Predator. Oh gosh, I was not a fan of those Predator movies. The Predators versus Aliens and Predators. I can't remember. He was in the Predator versus Alien, wasn't he? Or Alien versus Predator. Oops. Yes, it should be. Good call. Shouldn't it just be Aliens, the original years? Not sure why I named it that. Sorry about that.
I think I just got it off the comic releases website. But
we're so used to seeing the original Marvel years and so many classic stuff that it snuck by us. Cool. Yeah, and everybody who hasn't checked it out yet, check out comic releases. My buddy Chris runs that site. Great place for that, to get your information on upcoming books, and it's comicreleases.com. This episode is not brought to you by comicreleases.com. This episode is brought to you by cheapgraphicnovels.com, so go give them a check out, and books up to 50% off. Cold the Destroyer, coming out in August. This is the second batch of Cold the Destroyer. And then Empire, again getting a new date of August 25th. Hey, Omar, unrelated. Jackie Brown is my favorite Tarantino, too. Be well, and thanks for all your work. Thank you. And yes, I love Jackie Brown. So underrated. I'm so happy Spider-Man is receiving so much love from Marvel and with these reprints. Yes, when you see all this stuff written down, you get to find out exactly like when books come out. You see that the mutant months are really heavy in the last quarter of the year. Like, since I've been doing this, usually Spider-Man they say for like the summer, Fantastic Four, and I don't know if that's on purpose or just since I've been making announcements, and since I get to make so many, I get to see the list ahead of time, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is where this character belongs. And then you have characters just randomly pop up when their movies are named, right? Like whenever we get a Doctor Strange omnibus, we're getting 4 of those because there's a certain movie coming out. One of those being a reprint. Sorry.
It's kind of crazy as well, because that's how I always used to remember omnibuses coming out. Like, Fantastic Four Volume 1 came out when the Fantastic Four 2005 film came out, and then Volume 2 with the Rise of Galactus, and that was how I used to chart omnibuses. So now it's great that we're getting 3 or 4 rather than just once every 3 years.
Or a reprint. Yeah. different time. Speaking of CGN, any update from Max on the Nixon dead cell? Not yet, but I will ask again. Just showing some love. Thank you, Durley. Much love. Back to you, man. Any word on Iron Man Volume 1 and 2 Silver Age? Let's not forget to smash that like button. Appreciate it, man. I've not heard about that series. I think right now they're still testing the waters with Silver Age stuff. So one of the things they did was Thor, and then X-Men Volumes 1 and 2, and then Hulk Volume 1 Silver Age. So all that stuff is Silver Age. So buy it up. So they see that there's still a huge interest in those books. And I'm glad that they did, because there for a while they were not keen on any more Silver Age material outside of Spider-Man Fantastic Four. But it looks like they changed their minds. Will Marvel make a Captain America by Ta-Nehisi Coates omnibus? I don't know if they will or not. I assume you mean an omnibus, since I think the first OHC goes up to like issue 10 or 12. So I mean, they could do a second OHC. Is he only doing 30? I thought he was only doing. Oh no! Wait, the second OHC was solicited and it was going up to issue 24. So I wonder if they'll change that. Amir, hello, Omar. Any news on the 5th volume of Avengers Complete Collections? Stay tuned. But I have no news right now. X-Men Inferno prologue, love that. Love that Arthur Adams cover, man. So good.
Yeah.
Classic is, you can't go wrong with the classic Mark Silvestri cover either. That was in the original OHC. But so what are you getting X-Men Omnis, like all of them, or are you just getting certain ones? How are you? What's your...
Yeah, so fortunately I managed to get all of the Uncanny ones. I've got the Mutant Massacre original. That's why with this prologue, I'm like, I might have to go standard cover because Colossus is my boy. So you put Colossus on the front of anything. I think that's why I picked up X-Men Classic, because like I can see Colossus pretty close to the front, so I'm going to have to buy it. But yeah, I'm really glad that they're doing these. I wasn't too sure on getting the Silver Age ones that were just re-announced, because a lot of people say that X-Men properly starts at Uncanny, and I'm like, if that's true, then I might be happy with that as my starting point. So I didn't know whether I don't know where you weigh in.
I think I'm always honest with those, and that is, they're definitely a product of their time. They're not my favorite stories, but as an X-Men enthusiast and completist, I would be a damn fool not to have read them. Like if I didn't read them, I would feel weird reading Uncanny and when they're talking about the old times. Like, I mean, even just to break it down, like Jean and Scott dating, in your head as you're reading it as a kid, it happens in such a long time, you think, but it really happened like that, just a matter of like a page or two. Like, what, they're dating? But anyway, there are some good things in there. I'm not going to downplay it. There are some really good gems in those particular ones, especially in Volume 2. I have a fond place in my heart for the first appearance of Juggernaut in Volume 1. Volume 2 has the Roy Thomas and the Sentinel storyline with Neil Adams, Living Pharaoh, Sauron, Havoc, and Polaris. So there are some pretty good ones in there. But those first few issues of X-Men, it seems like, I don't know, just it's different. So people don't expect things. I do tell people not to expect things like Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah.
No news on any War of the Kings reprints, yes. The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5. Love it. So excited for this. Are you getting Spidey in Omni format or in trade paperback format? Anybody else? Which cover are you going to get? I think is that Stuart Eminem or Paco Medina? I think it's Paco Medina. And anybody in the chat right now, let us know.
I've got the Roger Stern omnibus on its way because I've read a few issues out of that, but because of like them never being in stock at the same time, I didn't manage to get Volume 1 of Amazing. I used to have the one. Do you remember when it first got printed? And it was like that wide. It was like the width of my head.
The second printing was bigger than the first printing. Like it was thicker than the first printing. I had the first printing with the Alex Ross cover. Yeah.
But yeah, I had that one. But then I sold it like when I was trying to get driving lessons. So I didn't know whether to jump back into this. but I don't know which cover I'd get out of them two. Which one would you lean towards?
I'm a blasphemous man. I like the Medina cover. I think
Mm.
most people absolutely that the one on the right is gorgeous, but I'm okay with the standard. It shows the characters like the Jackal that appear heavily in this, the Punisher. So I'm good with that cover. But I get people's love for the direct market covers. Conan the Barbarian, the original Marvel years. Now that I got to go with my boy John Buscema. I love that cover. Now this is after the Roy Thomas era, and now we have Michael Fleischer writing the book. Jessica Jones, Alias reprint. Now you've read this, right?
Yeah, because I went Ultimate Spider-Man, Daredevil, and then this in like my brain, Michael Bendis journey, and it was just like peak after peak after peak. But I never. It's like you said about the change in omnibus culture in the last couple of years. When this got reprinted, I had the two complete collections, and I thought I was fine with that. But now, there's no way I'm missing this at all. I wish it did say Alias on the cover. I'm not going to lie, but I get why they've called it Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine right now, and the first printing is just Alias, and then the second printing is when they did this. They changed it to Jessica Jones, which means I don't know. It could mean something hopeful that they are gonna release some kind of like the Pulse Omnibus later or Jessica Jones series by Kelly Thompson. I don't know. What If Classics Volume 2. So excited for this. Even though I have the complete collection. I bought them all up, but I don't care. I like omnibus format, and I hope this leads directly into what is my classic What If, and that's from the late 80s, early 90s, the 90s era. Oh, man, if they do that, that would be so freaking awesome.
What's your favorite, like...
I got to go with the standard edition cover with my boy Wolvie on it, man, killing Hulk. What about you? All you Dazzler fans better buy up that Dazzler Herald of Galactus cover, though.
I think I'm leaning. I just love like the use of negative space with the red. But what's like your favorite What If story, like off the top of your head?
From the classic era?
Just any like that just makes you laugh.
I have so many. I like the more serious stories. I love What If the Punisher had killed Daredevil. What if Jean Grey had lived? What if the Phoenix had died? Or what if the Phoenix had resurrected? What's the one? What if Wolverine was Lord of the Vampires? What if Hulk had killed Wolverine? There's another one from the tail end of the classic 90s series that's just creepy. It's about Sabretooth hunting down Jubilee. And so it's just called What If, starring Sabretooth and Jubilee. So, yeah. I'm very fond of this series. Very fond of this series. So... There's one by Conan, too. Like, there's a Conan story that I really enjoy. Spider-Man Volume 3. No sign of Volume 4 to get to Thomas's question there. Enough with Dazzler. Dean, you're going to get canceled, man. People love Dazzler. Choose your battles, man. That's what I tell people. Choose your battles. Star Wars Legends. All right. That's Mike McCone on the left. I forgot to mention this. But on the right is the classic cover. And I remember I bought my brother the classic cover years ago. And I was like, I wish I had gotten the Morbius cover. I like McCone enough. All right. But this one here for sure, the Darth Maul cover is freaking awesome, man. That one I'm sure is probably the one that's going to go out of print first. Young Avengers by Gillen and McKelvey. Great series if you've not read it. This is one of the America Chavez is one of these characters I couldn't stand until I read this series. I loved her in this series. This and Al Ewing's Ultimate series. She was great in.
This or Alan Heinberg's run, though? Because I'm going to go Alan Heinberg.
There are elements of this that I enjoy, and one of them being Loki. But I think Alan Heinberg's... I just wish there wasn't such a big gap in between the beginning of Alan Heinberg's Young Avengers and what was it, the Children's Crusade. I wish we had issues in between. By the way, while we still have about 400 people watching, I just want to remind everybody that these dates are always suitable to change. So that sometimes they'll bounce around, even within the month. but they are coming. Nothing's being canceled. And don't forget to hit that like button, please, if you're watching. Cole the Conqueror, wrapping up the Cole comics for Marvel. This is the original Marvel years. I want to say Young Avengers showed up at $100, but I can double check. I think the first printing was $75, but the new printing is $100. I think. Don't quote me on that. I hate when people say that. And then Vader. I happen to like both covers. What about you guys in the chat? What about you all in the chat? Joachim, the new printing is $75 as well. Could have sworn it was. Oh no! Wait! I'm thinking the first printing was $50. The new printing is $75. Thank you.
I think with the Star Wars DMs, I was thinking this when I saw the Maul, because obviously there's quite a lot of similarities between this Darth Vader cover and the Maul one. It'd be cool if every DM variant was just a character holding a lightsaber, and eventually you can have your own collection of DM omnibuses. That'd be so cool. Kind of like what they did with MMPR with issue 0, and each one was just a ranger holding a helmet.
Mr. Omar and Maddogg. Mr. Maddogg. Thank you, Miguel. David Gabriel likes the idea of Dazzler Omnibus. I asked him a few weeks ago on the Q&A. Then you can have 2 Dazzlers on the spine and a classic Dazzler cover. That'd be great.
They should just do Dazzler spine variants from now on. Do you know, like when they were doing like Alien variants and Conan variants, but it had nothing to do with the issue?
That's just for Dean. Dean would get stuck with the Dazzler spines. Charles Soule's Darth Vader is my favorite Star Wars comic series of all time. It is awesome. I dig it. I'm digging the new series too that hopefully will be collected. I will get the standard cover for Vader. It's awesome. Yeah, like I said, I like both of these. I'm good with either one. Is the DM Addy Granoff? Is that who it is? I assume. And then so. Mike Deodato. Looks like his artwork.
Is it Mike Deodato on the interiors? I can't remember because I know it's LaRocca the first time round.
Yeah, and I think some of the interiors are later on. I keep getting that mixed up with Kieran Gillian's run.
Yeah.
Captain Britain. Did I say it right?
Yeah. It's not the Percy controversy all over again.
Percy. Got it. I think Sand should be on the text on the cover. Luis, are you the same guy that says the Alias Omnibus needed the Netflix on the cover? No. I hate that. I hate when Dark Horse printed the reprinted Umbrella Academy, the library editions, and they put the stupid thing on the covers that are like, as seen on Netflix, Umbrella Academy.
That's why I can't wait for the boys omnibuses that you spoke about, because I got the paperback ones, and I thought it'd just be a sticker saying like, "Oh, we've got an Amazon Prime show," and then I was just like scratching at the cover, and nothing was happening.
Standard is Deodato, and DM is Kamunkoli. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Adam. And DM to go with that Darth Maul cover. Yeah, you're right about that, man. You're right about that. How much is the Captain Britain omnibus? Look, I'm saying it like you. Captain Britain. Captain Britain is $125 for the expanded omnibus. And if you want to go and check out the old school omnibus, before I made that announcement, it was going for about $300 and something, which more power to people that wanted it. And that was one that shocked me. Like when I saw it on the list, I didn't think they were ever going to reprint it. Omar's James Robinson's old Starman paperbacks worth hunting down for about $100, $150. If you're doing the paperback route, my dude, just get the compendium, which is coming out later this year. Save your money, because some of those get expensive. Excalibur Volume 2. Collecting the return of Alan Davis on Excalibur, and it has two Joe Mad issues in there. If you're a fan of Joe Mad, it's classic Joe Mad, or 16-year-old Joe Mad. Savage Sword of Conan, the original Marvel years. Both covers are gorgeous. Oh, they're both awesome. And Ultimate Spider-Man. All right, which one did you go with, Marcus? Which cover? And what about everybody in the chat that's watching right now, or if you're watching later, let me know which covers you're going for.
I think I still went with all three. I genuinely can't decide on this one. But I think if you put a gun to my head, which, please don't, I'd probably go with Standard, just because it's iconic now to me. I don't know. If you asked me in 5 minutes, I'd probably change my mind. Did you say you're going Venom?
I like the Venom one.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's Bagley. It's just Venom plays a big role in this second omnibus. So, or I'm sorry, this first omnibus. Carnage would be in the second omnibus. That would be cool. So, yeah. But it was tough between Venom and the web one by Quesada. The web one's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I've already pre-ordered my Venom DM. Venom is badass. Yeah, it's great. Ultimate Spidey. Let's make it happen. I like the way you guys think. Did you all do the same thing for Hulk Silver Age 2? Anybody out there? all caps? Probably, maybe. Oh, no. So we got, what's his name? Omni Nation super chatted us to make it happen. So that's how you make it happen. Captain Britain. Captain America. Lives. So with a brand new direct market cover by John Cassidy from that's the Reborn limited series. And then the Alex Ross cover.
Was Reborn digital in the original Omni?
It had the digital chapters, I think, is what it had.
Oh, okay. I'm with you.
But it is collected in there.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. It's been years since I read this one.
So, Maxwell, this is an excellent question. Are they worth reading? Are the non-Roy Thomas Conan Omnis worth reading? For me, I got hooked on Conan. And regardless of who was writing the character, I wanted to follow the adventures of J.M. DeMatteis. I won't lie and say it felt a little repetitive at first. And then he got used to the grind. And then Bruce Jones took over the book. And that was okay for the most part. I have not read this particular run by Fleischer, so I don't know. I've heard that it was not, but I'm gonna keep going through it. Omar, I didn't want Silver Age Hulk 2. I wanted Bruce Jones Hulk. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Omni Nation. I read your super chat and I reread it wrong though. Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman with 2 brand new covers. You have the direct market cover here by Alan Davis and the standard edition cover also by Alan Davis, but not the original one.
This is such a great run.
Yes.
Especially the first part of this was amazing. And then obviously I watched Rick and Morty.
I love the payoff to this. I think the payoff to this is freaking awesome. We have volume 6 on Conan. How many more do you expect? I expect 5 to 6 more. Honestly. There's that many issues. 300 and something issues. 300 something issues of Savage Sword. And then I think enough for 2 Omnis of King Conan. So you're looking at about 24 to 26 Omnis on your shelf with nothing but Conan, just for Marvel. I don't know. Could be more.
How crazy is it going to be if we ever have to see volume 10 on a spine? Like, gets into double digits.
Yeah, it'll blow my mind, man. That's great. I love it. I expect more Dark Horse Conan. I hope so. I hope we get the Tim Truman run, and then who else did it? Truman had a long run. He did all the Road to King of Conan, and then King Conan, and then it was Brian Wood. Brian Wood took over that. So hopefully. Why would anyone want Heroes Reborn? Because they're children of the 90s, and they love that Brett Booth, Jim Lee artwork. Rob Liefeld, Captain America. And honestly, that was my first time I had read Jeff Loeb outside of like the X-Men was when he was writing some of that stuff. Savage is only $235. Okay, Conan is $275 plus annuals. That's what I was counting. I was counting the annuals, and King Conan is 55 issues, so enough for 2 Omnis. Savage Sword is 235 issues, but they were also oversized magazine issues too. So I was keeping that into account. And yeah, there's your answer. Jim Lee. Pretty much. Wolverine and the X-Men reprint. Don't put that mess on 90s kids. It's your fault, Rebel by Design. Y'all made that. I left comics when that stuff was coming out. It wasn't me. Generation X had done walked out. We came back later after that stuff had been resolved. Hey, Whilce Portacio on Iron Man, Chap Yep on Avengers. I don't think anybody really remembers that guy. Who else ended up? James Robinson ended up writing some stuff. Why do I know this? Like that era was such a forgotten era for me, but I still read it. Mighty Thor Omnibus, Volume 1 reprint with a brand new direct market cover. I do love the Oliver. Do you know how to pronounce his name? French artist, great artist. Oliver.
He did the. I've forgotten the other guy's name now as well. JMS's run.
Yes, he did the artwork on JMS's run.
Oliver Copiel.
Copiel. Yeah.
I say names wrong famously, though, so whatever I just said, don't say it that way, and you'll probably be more right than if you just copied off me.
Welcome to the club, Marcus. X-Men Mutant Massacre reprint scheduled to come out in December. You get the standard edition cover or the whoops, Omar made a mistake cover.
The Omar special edition.
Freaking awesome cover!
Like I said, you should genuinely try that a second time round and see if it does work.
All right, here we go. Quapel. Now you guys are throwing me for a loop. Nope, I ain't playing this game. Howard the Duck, Chip Zdarsky's Omnibus coming out, $60 retail price. So that's good. That's awesome. Okay. So I know you don't know anything about this, but that Trad Moore covers everything from the Squirrel Girl one shot. And I hope it's a wraparound cover. That Trad Moore cover is freaking awesome. I love his artwork.
The Fat Cat edition.
Or the Fat Cat edition. Yeah, that's classic, man. New Mutants Omnibus Volume 2. Now, in the chat, what do you all think of this particular collection? Which cover do you want? The Arthur Adams cover or the Barry Windsor Smith cover? Both phenomenal artists by their own right. On the left, they're fighting Magus, the New Mutants are. And then on the right is part of the Asgardian storyline from Special Edition number 1. I hope with the one on the right, the DM cover, it's the wraparound of it. And they don't give us like not like the Age of Apocalypse where they put like the widescreen on the front. I want the whole book to be wrapped around. It's freaking awesome. Neither really grabbing me, to be honest. All right, Rebel, you're hard to please. You want like a Rob Liefeld Dazzler on the cover? I know you like Dazzler, but you weren't a fan of Heroes Reborn.
Which cover would you pick up if you only had to pick up one?
From this?
Yeah.
Arthur Adams, man. I love it. I love it. Did you miss the Secret Wars 2 issue you mapped for this? I think it was issue number 8. Yes. So we were off by one issue on this material when we were doing Map My X. They didn't include that, which that's cool, but they included the War Children. Rob Liefeld Dazzler on cover and Greg Land Dazzler. They get to draw her though in the Matt Fractions run of Uncanny. X-Men by Jonathan Hickman Omnibus. This one retails for $75. Omar, please stop mentioning Dazzler. What? Dude, she was like one of my favorite couple, her and Longshot, when I was a kid. Because I didn't want anybody touching Rogue. Because I fanfic myself in I've just revealed way too much about myself. All right, X-Men by Jonathan Hickman. Omnibus, $75 coming out in December. Both of them are terrible? Dude, I love Russell Dodderman's cover. You're not a fan of that, huh?
Which one's that? Is that the
direct the direct market cover? I love that cover. I think he's a great artist. The Lionel Francis Yu cover shows a lot more characters, and there's nothing wrong with his artwork. I think it's a cool cover, but I just love Russell Dodderman's. Like, it's gorgeous to me. What about you, Marcus? Any preference?
I think I prefer the standard. It just seems to... No disrespect to the DM. It just seems to have a bit more energy to it. Like, it tells you a bit more about the run. And, well, from what I've heard, I haven't actually picked up Jonathan Hickman's X-Men just yet because I was planning out to see what it was like in the end. But you put Omnibus at the end. I'm going to have to buy it now. So,
yeah, there's no... I like both of these covers, but me personally, I prefer the one from Giant Size, X-Men. And that's a good issue. And one of the best Phantom X issues is that giant size Phantom X. I haven't seen anyone write Phantom X so damn good since the days of Morrison. So, and yes, okay, guys. Which one are you gonna get though? Like which cover? Because I know every single one of you is gonna buy this so we can get a Volume 3. Which cover to the New Warriors Classic Volume 2 are we gonna get?
Well, both so that you can get your Volume 3.
Both of them. Everybody say both. Who was it that said something about the Heroes Reborn era? I wonder if he feels the same about the New Warriors. For me, I got to go with the Time and Time Again Derek Robertson cover. That I love that. That's one of my favorite crossovers, and it's towards the end of Fabian ECS's run. Oh, it's so good. I realized the issue 51 is like a bunch of the characters, and they're like, we got too many New Warriors. And Darkhawk makes an appearance there, but I gotta go with Time and Time Again. I love that cover. What about you? Since you've not read the material, but that is a good thing, though. To be honest, I'm waiting on the spine. Spine can be everything.
In case Dazzler's on it.
Right.
But, I don't know. I think I just prefer the standard, if I'm honest. I went standard for the first one. So it just seems to have a lot more. I think they're going to adjust it slightly, though, aren't they? Like modernize it a bit, maybe recolor it a bit. So that might sway my judgment on it.
Yeah, I just hope they don't do what they did with Volume 1 of the standard edition cover and switch out the classic colors for the modernized colors. I don't mind the background being changed that much, but keep the covers. Boomer Warriors. They're just Warriors. They're old Warriors now. Guys, they'll always be the new Warriors. Omar, who's the gray-faced, red-eyed dude on the cover? Which character is that? The Sphinx? Is that who you're talking about? In the back of the standard edition? Yeah. Sigh, pre-ordering New Warriors Volume 2. I owe Marvel more money than I owe the IRS. That's good, right? Unless you owe the IRS a lot of money. That would be bad. But excited for that one. And yeah, somebody mentioned that this is like a Kevin Maguire cover, like a take on the JLI. Yeah. I never honestly, I never made that connection, but I totally get it now. Doctor Strange Volume 1 is coming out with a reprint with a brand new direct market cover. And then the standard edition is the Alex Ross cover. So this is a very, very odd case, but if you own the Doctor Strange Epic Collection Volume 1, it is the exact same material as this omnibus. So pretty much it is just straight up Stan Lee, Steve Ditko era.
I remember this being quite thin as well when it originally came out, if I remember right.
Yes. It's not, it's not the thickest omnibus, but it's also one of the most gorgeous ones because it's got Steve Ditko just firing on all cylinders. He was so great in this. Omar, do you know if Hulk Peter David Omni will be restocked? Yes. I actually said the date earlier, so in case you missed that, I will tell you in a minute. Wait a minute, where's my dates? Okay. Absolute Carnage Omnibus getting restocked in July 28th. Wolverine Omnibus Volume 1 restocked for the final time on August 21st. And Hulk by Peter David Volume 2 will be restocked on September 21st. There you go, man. Don't forget to hit like. All right, let's keep going. We're almost done with this. Doctor Strange Volume 2. Collecting the series before he got canceled. And then Roy Thomas said, not on my watch. And he said, I'm going to make this into a Defenders omnibus or a Defender story. And that's pretty much what this turned out to be. His series got canceled on Doctor Strange, and he decided to take it on the other books that he was writing because he didn't get to wrap up the storyline. So he took it to Submariner and then the Incredible Hulk, and then together they formed the Defenders. So this one, I love that Kevin Nolan cover, but both of these are great. I'm happy to see that. I hope that stays to be the trend, that if it's a brand new, or if a movie's coming out, Doctor Strange is getting 3 new Omnis and 1 reprint. I hope that's a trend with Marvel. And I know people, there are some people that are like, they're releasing too much. I get it. And I hope they print enough too. That's the other thing. Knights of Pendragon coming out. And I'm going to talk about which ones we're the most excited for. And I'll ask everybody in the chat. Incredible Hulk by Peter David, Volume 4, wrapping up his run. The direct market cover by Adam Kubert, and then the Mike Deodato cover, the standard edition. Both of these are great. I love both of these covers. My man Marcus, anybody in the chat, what's the cover you're going to get for this?
That's difficult. They're making it difficult because they're both so good. Like, I think standard just edges it for me because it sort of seems in line with the standard cover of Volume 1, which I've got. So it's almost like he's evolved or devolved, maybe even. How about yourself?
Oh, man, this one's tough because during this time they had some phenomenal artwork on Hulk. I'd be happy with either one, kind of like the case of all these, but I'm leaning more towards Adam Kubert. I love the transformation, or like you just said, the transformation of Hulk. Love it. I think it's freaking awesome. But Mike Deodato, man, that's an awesome, because I like Mike Deodato's 1990s artwork. Love his artwork. But I think I lean a little more towards Hulk by Adam Kubert. X-Men Volume 1 reprint. You have the standard edition by Alex Ross, and of course the classic by Jack Kirby. And since we're going to FOMO Marcus into buying this, which one are you going to get, Marcus?
They've made Magneto's helmet really shiny, and that's good enough for me. That'll get me to buy it. Like, you know how I felt. You know how I felt about the end of X-Men First Class. They made his helmet shiny. It was perfect. So same deal here. Which cover have you got? You've got first printing, haven't you?
Yeah. And for all of us that have the first printing, this was the only Marvel Omnibus that for some reason, the dust jacket has like a flat matte finish to it. It doesn't have a semi-gloss finish like all your other dust jackets. And somebody said, save yourself some money, just buy a broad art, like the broad art covers. I'm like, oh, yeah, good point. Alex Ross all day, every day. Omar, will they map the backup prequel prologue stories from X-Men 38 to 57 together continuously? It would be cool to have those in the beginning of Volume 1 and 2 rather than at the end of their issues. I think this will be just a straight-up reprint. Hip Hop Happens. Just a straight-up reprint. So it's whatever they were in the original one. Doctor Strange by Jason Aaron. So collecting this. And now people are asking me about Donny Cates' OHC. They're like, Omar, do you think Marvel will reprint the OHC or combine it with Dennis Hopeless to make an omnibus? And I was like, I really don't know. I had no idea this was coming, honestly. So I hope they do. And these are questions. I'm gathering a bunch of questions that I've been getting throughout the week to ask David. And I know he's like, oh, yeah, it's one of these Omar emails. I love these. It's when I send him an email just full of the questions I've been gathering for like the last month. When people just ask me but the rule is like I always let it be about 10 people that ask me the same question before I start asking.
Yeah.
I can't make everybody's dreams come true. That would be a cool power. Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme Volume 3 wrapping up the run. This is a pretty interesting cover choices here. So you have the Buckingham cover, which is kind of like the classic Doctor Strange with a new look, but you have like the hipster Doctor Strange during this era of the 70s here on the left. So will there be a reprint of X-Men Shattershot? I have not heard about that one. I haven't heard about a reprint of any of the OHCs, and not even Fall of the Mutants. That was voted as our number one choice, but we'll see. This is just the beginning of the year, guys. Keep that in mind. We're looking at almost a year away. Invaders, all of it, all the complete Invaders right here. There's several people excited for that series. X-Men Volume 2, also reprinted, and this one comes out in February. And Thunderbolts Volume 2. Oh, man, I do like that Patrick Searcher cover. I think the one for the DM is it. I like Bagley doing this cover for issue 50, but the one on issue 58 is just freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So what about you, man? Which one would you be getting?
I am going to go DM with this one because the place I got me Volume 1 from only had DM in stock. So if I would have got a standard cover, I would have got standard for this because they line up really well. But
so with this, and that's the thing too, it could depend on the spine, honestly, what they choose for the spine. For those that I'm like, oh, either or. But I love that Patrick Searcher. I like his artwork a lot, and he is the main He's the main artist on the book after Bagley leaves. And Incredible Hulk by Peter David, Volume 1. Do you have this one? Did you get it?
Yeah, I'm just waiting on Volume 3 now, and obviously Volume 4 when it comes out. And then I'm going to read it all. I wanted to make sure I'd got it all before I started Volume 1.
I did that with some other books. Like I remember waiting on Starman. Like I had to get all my trade paperbacks before reading it. I was so OCD about that. The Question. And I ended up selling my Question trade paperbacks because I thought by now we'd have nicer. Anyway, let's save that for the DC episode. Did that with Transformers Phase 1. I waited till Phase 1 OHC was all out and I read it all and loved it. Omar, are we getting X-Men by Carey soon? I don't know. It's one of that might make my list of top 20 most wanted or X-Men Omnis. And then the Incredible Hulk Volume 1 reprint is coming out. So for those people that want a Volume 2, you know what to do. Now, the most important question for everybody that's still watching. Thank you, by the way. For everyone that is still watching. And if you all have questions, please leave them in the chat. But my question to everybody and my buddy Marcus here is, what's the book you're most excited for? And why? Out of all the ones we went through today, what's the book you're most excited for? And everybody in the chat doesn't have to answer why. I'm just curious why Marcus is excited. If you had to choose one book, why that book?
It's so difficult. I think just because of the legacy of it, it is going to have to be Ultimate Spider-Man for me.
Okay, great.
A close runner-up would be Star Wars, The Old Republic, just because, I've played the games, but I haven't read that material. So that's a close runner-up, but I think...
Okay, so why don't we do this? What's your favorite reprint you're looking forward to and new material you're looking for?
Yeah, reprint's definitely going to be after the Ultimate Spider-Man. And
I love all these different answers. And what about new material? Like whether you read it or you're just excited that it's going to be collected.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be Old Republic for myself.
Awesome.
How about you?
Wolverine Volume 2. I'm so excited for that to come out in oversized format. 11 years in the making. That's yes. Oh my God, yes. And let there be a Volume 3. As far as reprinted material for the people that missed out on it, there is a lot of stuff they're reprinting that, we had a hand in that, like voting for it on the channel. You guys had a huge hand in that. David being in the chat, refusing to believe me when I said there's an X-Men Inferno OHC that needs to be reprinted as an omnibus. I had to take a picture in the middle of the chat to text him. He was like, "Oh yeah, that book." I came up with that idea. And now it's an omnibus. So, but I think for me, one of the books that I'm most excited people are going to have in their hands is the Amazing Spider-Man by Michelinie and McFarlane. Like I love that run. I think it's great. It's probably my second favorite Spider-Man omnibus, and has a lot of great artwork. Introduction to Venom, and to read it all in chronological order. I'm envious for those people. So absolutely, I'm most excited for that. As far as new material that I have never ever read that I cannot wait to read, honestly, it was going to be the Old Republic omnibus. I don't think I've read any of that stuff, but I lean more towards Knights of Pendragon. I'm serious. I want to know why people across the pond are so excited for this stuff. Like, I haven't read a single issue of this, so I can't wait.
Would you say that'd also be like your biggest surprise that's on this like upcoming?
Out of all these right here, I have two surprises. Number one, they reprinted Captain Britain and made it into it. I'm serious. I remember when that made it into our list and I shared it with David. My internal thoughts were, there's no way he's ever going to think about Captain Britain reprint. Just this obscure character, barely has anything to do with the X-Men, and that would be your high selling point. But if you look at the covers, it's like, screw the X-Men, Big Ben, and you have Captain Britain. Like so that blew my mind. And then yes, this Knights of Pendragon. Seeing the other big surprise is seeing Peter David's run, getting to announce Volume 1 when and you remember this because you watched that video when I had, I think right about 13,000 subscribers. I got to announce Volume 1. So people on the internet were like, there's this crazy guy on YouTube that's saying Annihilation is coming back into print and we're going to get a Peter David Omnibus Volume 1. And I remember like, holy crap, I'm just a crazy guy on the internet. Why would they believe me? Now we're getting a Volume 4. And I got to announce that. It's just, it kind of brings it all back home to me. In the 2 years that I've known David, all of this is just coming back to me. So it's really cool. Like bringing it back
crazy. Home. Just how quick it needs to reprint.
I believe I'm a crazy man on YouTube living in my basement.
No, now you're the crazy man on YouTube.
Now I put on a suit, so it makes it a little more convincing. They're like, oh, he's wearing a suit. It must be true. Back then, I was just a guy in a T-shirt going, so we're going to get maybe I heard through the grapevine that Annihilation is coming. Yeah, I remember getting message. I remember people copying me on messages on message boards and Twitter, like, and the disbelief of these people. They're like, this guy's like 13,000 subscribers. Who the hell does he think he is? Like, he doesn't know anybody at Marvel. I mean,
you showed them.
Half of that is true. What's that?
You showed them. Like, if you don't know anybody at Marvel, you've done a really good job for the past 2 years of guessing every purpose.
I've hacked into their system, and I know ahead of time what they're planning. Yeah, that's it. So it's been a blessing. It's been amazing, and then having to play a big role in that, and having everyone involved, in that, it feels like. How do I put it? Because we are spending money on this stuff, so it's not like a family. It feels like a family, but I'm giving them money like my godparents, right? Like,
yeah,
you guys are great. Here's some money because I want you to give me the stuffs. So yeah, all right. Omni Nation is asking, okay, Omar, Marcus, let's have some fun. What is your favorite omnibus on your shelf right now? Choose only one. Take that challenge. Uncanny X-Men Volume 3. That's how fast. I love that. That's my favorite omnibus.
Daredevil by Bendis, Volume 1.
All right,
because that's up there with Ultimate Spider-Man for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we're talking just sentimental, it's an odd one, but I'd go Punisher by Rick Remender because it was the first gift that my girlfriend got me. So that's like the sentimental one that I'm like. I was like, she's really good at this gift stuff. She got me the exact book that I've wanted for like 6 years. So sentimental.
So I like that. So sentimental for me would be Uncanny Volume 1 because there's signatures in that Uncanny from people that are no longer with us. So that means something to me. It's not like I can put it in a CGC, right? God forbid they ever CGC Omnis. Nobody takes that seriously. But, it's just something that I'll probably never get rid of. It's my very first omnibus, too. No news on the reprint of Secret Warriors, though. And that didn't make it into our top 20, so we'll see what they end up reprinting. Omar reserving his book. I'm not hating on anybody that loves on business. I think that's great, man. Whatever makes you happy. Silver Surfer Omnibus is out of print. It is back out of... Actually, it's been out of print for a little while. You're talking about the John Buscema run? Stan Lee? Yeah. Anyone asking for when Omnibus is getting reprint, don't worry. The reprint will be coming sometime in 2022 to 2099. Perhaps.
What do you think? Because each year seems to have its themes. Like, I think last year was very, X-Men heavy. This year's been quite Fantastic Four and Captain America heavy. What do you think the theme... Obviously, we can clearly see Doctor Strange is quite important, and Hulk's already got about 3 omnibuses next year. What do you think one of the big themes might be for next year?
It's a little unfair because I've looked at the list for the first.
It's froze a little bit. I'm not sure if it's just me.
Am I frozen?
I was, at least.
Okay. For the
Oh.
for the first 4 months, I've looked at the list, so I can't. I guess I could guess. I'll
Yeah.
guess and say um, that I think we're gonna bring back more Silver Age books. That's just my guess. That's not me looking at the list. That's not me seeing what's coming out. It's just me thinking. I think they're gonna see the sales of these books, the interest in these Silver Age books again, and bring them back. And I realize there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, Silver Age," and then there are people from the. It is funny when I make an announcement. Like, there's this clear division with some people that I say something modern, and then like the Silver Age people are like, "Oh, gross! Why is Marvel wasting their time?" Vice versa, when I announce something from Silver Age, "Oh, what? Marvel's crazy. This old stuff. This is old art. Why aren't they doing anything modern?" And I'm kind of in the middle. Like I've always been with everything, and I'm kind of like, I just want everything. I like it all. I like variety in my life, and there's Silver Age stories that I prefer over modern age stories, and vice versa. There are modern age stories that I prefer over Silver Age. But I love the fine line of the division there in some people, and then they get into a bickering argument, and I'm just like standing in the sidelines. I'm like, I'm not gonna get in the middle of that.
I'm kind of the exact opposite. Like, if there's an omnibus that gets announced that I know I'm not going to pick up, I'm like, thank God, I can save some money on that. I'm like, phew, thank you for saving me money.
Yes, that's another way of looking at it. And I've seen that in the comment section, like, oh, good, I don't have to spend any money. But then I see the exact opposite, like, holy crap, this month is going to destroy my family and my wallet. So do you think the hobby will continue to grow when everything goes back to normal, or will there be a ton of omnis for sale when the snowflakes fall off? What a beautiful poetic way of putting this. Apocalyptic outcome to all of this. I think. Look, here's the thing. I think this is just my personal opinion. I think that there's always going to be collectors. There's going to be readers. There's always going to be people that refuse to go back to the digital route. And whether some people leave the hobby because they're like, oh, yes, bars are open again, I don't have to read comics or whatever. Or you can go on vacation. Yeah, I'm sure there's some people that are going to do that. But then we've also gained a lot more people interested in this medium. Like, there's a lot more people that are like, oh, I used to read comics. Now this is a really cool way of reading comics. So I think some will stay. Yeah, of course, some will leave. So what do you think, Marcus?
I agree with you, because I think, admittedly, as much of a boom as we've seen in as many people are in the community, we are still very niche and still quite underground, and it's not something that people just took up for absolutely no reason. Like, I know the Pokemon card collecting just got taken up by a load of big names that...
What, because of Ron Paul? Nope, that's a senator. Who the heck's that guy? On
Logan
YouTube?
Paul.
Whatever, yes.
You can end up having to fight him if you say his name too many times. That's how it works nowadays.
I don't even know. I called him Ron Paul.
That's the worst. That's the worst dish you could do, is getting someone's name wrong.
Okay. Well, welcome to my channel where I butcher everybody's name. Go ahead.
But yeah, like, I think with the omnibus collecting in particular, it's so niche that people had to have some level of base interest in it to undertake it. Like, these omnibuses aren't cheap. Like, $100 for an omnibus, even though, we buy multiple a month. If you aren't interested in it, that's a lot of money to be spending. So I think everybody that has come into the community, obviously there's always going to be some people that aren't, but it might do, you never know. Could you imagine? But yeah, I genuinely think that the majority of the people who have come into the community as a result of the pandemic had some interest in it before. So I think the majority will stick around. It's just going to be if people have as much disposable income. It's not going to be all or nothing, I don't think.
Yeah. And it could be just wishful thinking on my part, that I really hope that this takes off and this becomes a form of, another thing that people get into. That I love this. This channel grew out of my passion for these books that are full of stories, filled with stories that made up my childhood. I mean, this is my life in comics. All of this. Omar, will you be doing any other series besides X? Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Manny. Sanchez. Yes, we've talked about it. We joked about spinning that into its own spinning, making that mapping out Spider-Man. So yeah, we're thinking about it. Thank you. And somebody was asking if Peter from Crushing Crisis was going to come back to the channel to do Met My Ex. Are you asking because we got in such a heated debate? We were yelling at each other. Of course he's coming back. We're still friends at the end. Hi all. It is not an omnibus, but I visited my local comic book shop and they told me Marvel moved Captain America OHC to by Coates, Ta-Nehisi Coates from 16/6. So I assume that January or on June 16th to Marcus, help me out here. Is that January 5th?
Yeah, that's January 5th. That was the most confusing thing when I was doing the slideshow. I was like, I'm doing everything against me will to put the month first. I was so confused.
Thank you for that. I've heard the same thing too. They get pushed back to another date. So I don't know if they're going to include more issues where he wraps up his run. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. Hip hop happens. I'm not going to highlight that. You're going to piss off Golden Age fan readers. Ron My Paul. Leave it to Arya. Peter is a super smart guy. Love hearing that guy talk. Peter is the real MVP. Matt My Superman would be a good series to do. Oh man, I've done that already. I would love to do that. Yeah. I think it's just a lot more fun when we're all into the same thing and we all sit there and argue about what to leave in, what to take out. That last Marvel Solicited Matt had me at $900 before the discount. I know damn well I can't afford that. But I will get the most important books from my shelf. My man. Omar, we need more of this trend of reprinting OOP out of print X-Men OHCs into omnibus, especially between the Claremont and Jim Lee Age of Apocalypse. Need those for my reading order. All right, Dean, I'll see what I can do. You guys still at it? Wow, this is my wife. Yes, we're still at it. Have you met me? I'm a machine. I need some sleep, actually. Marcus, when you're not hanging out with me. Oh, do you have any more questions? Anybody have any more questions before we wrap up? We have been at it for 2 hours, so most people need to go back to work, I assume. Maybe? No?
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much evening in the UK. We're all going to be going to bed soon enough.
Okay.
Get the early night tea in. That's what we always do.
You can't make a whole video about upcoming tea. We can try, and then we'll just have fun. We'll do it, and then we'll talk to you all. Because I'm serious. I think it's one omnibus a month. I'm not kidding. Oh, you've been caught. Yeah. Hey, baby, they fixed the AC, though. They fixed the AC. I'll tell you about it. I'll give you a call here in a minute. I'm on an extended lunch. I love it. Marcus, you've been a great addition to these. Thank you. I agree with that. Marcus is a good guy.
I'm just blessed to be on here.
I meant to say this earlier. Marcus is coming at it from a different angle than I am. I'm coming at it from I've been buying these since day one. I'm happy to see these reprints, and some of these stories mean a lot to me from the past. Aren't Marcus's past, right? Marcus. That's why I was talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. That's his old school stories. So I think he has made a great voice doing these solicitations, because I like that. I like to get another perspective of, instead of just me going, yeah, so this was my childhood. That was great. I used to go buy books at the flea market. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
It's cool as well. And I think as well, I just love getting that perspective of yourself and what I should read from the time before I was collecting. So I think like your opinion and influence over what I've brought in the past couple of years has been really important. And I can't lie, I've gotten a lot more books. So there's always that I have to factor into it.
Yeah, so I do appreciate Marcus being here. Hey, Gwen, how are you? Do you think they'll reprint Tokyo Ghost? Well, I know they're reprinting Low, so of course they're going to. Miss finding hidden treasures at flea markets on the weekend. Yeah, I miss going out and recording myself, so I think that's going to come. That will come. We'll bring that segment back when we can get the heck out there and record again.
Yeah, I love that series when you would do like exploring comic shops in different states, and that one where you left for about 2 minutes and it started pouring it down with rain.
With my wife. Yeah. And what's funny, out of those, I get the most views from a lot of people overseas, because they don't have the experience that we do. We take things for granted here in America, like cheap graphic novels. cheap graphic novels in general, in cheapgraphicnovels.com, or places like cheapgraphicnovels.com, ISTTOW, where we get things, cheap. Oh, thank you, Immortal Ibsy, for plugging the. Like, I suck so much at plugging these things. We do have a Patreon. It is a phenomenal way to support the channel. Thank you all that have been part of our Patreon. And, there are exclusive things in there, but it doesn't take away from the experience that I put here on YouTube, because YouTube this is where I mainly come. This is where everything. And yes, you're right, Marcelo. He did discover the channel through one of the videos of my kids and I and my wife doing Free Comic Book Day in 2018, 2017, one of those years. But yes, just joining now. Any restocks other than Absolute Carnage? Wolverine and Peter David Hulk Volume 2. Those are the restocks. Can we get a Darkhawk Omni? Amen. We should. We could. Maybe.
That's a cool Death Star in his picture as well.
Is that? I hope it's him. That I'm so tempted to get that stupid Spider-Man building with all the villains.
Yeah.
Somebody suggested doing a live Q&A, taking Spider-Man questions while my kids and I build a Lego set. And apparently, I get it. It's a beautiful thought. But my children and my wife and I, when we're together doing something, we are not the beautiful family that you see on the cover of these things. They get along like, darling, do you mind passing the blue piece of Lego? No, it's not like it's usually yelling and crying. And it's everybody. So fighting. And so I don't know about that, but that Lego set does look nice. Thanks for the Patreon link, Immortal Ipsy. Thank you, seriously. Thank you for sharing our Patreon. They're on there. We're also on Spreadshop, where you can get our logo and stickers. We have several designs too. Some made by you wonderful folks. How come DC doesn't have epic collections like Marvel? They tried. I think they were doing some Bronze Age stuff. I want to say, what was it? Was it JLA Bronze Age? Justice League Bronze Age? One of those books had started, and then they dropped that idea. So, still think it's messed. I still think they messed up the reading order on Absolute Carnage. I think what I would have liked was at least adding the Venom issues in between the issues of Absolute Carnage. Because when I was doing my overview of that, and then compared to my overview of Flashpoint, I came to the realization that I'm like, yeah, I'm in the middle. I don't want everything in between issues, because it just kind of takes away from the experience if I'm reading 17 issues of miniseries in between the big event. So I kind of want maybe the important things and then leave everything else for the end. So at least in that, maybe actually I would have probably included Amazing Spider-Man as well in between issues of Absolute Carnage. Was that sarcasm? Yes. But who knows? Maybe they'll get their act together and we'll come back. Like I said, Marcus and I will put something together like this for DC. A big 50 issues Immortal Hulk Omni, maybe at the end of 2022. Maybe. That would be huge, though, because you're also forgetting about the one-shots. Was in there a couple one-shots. Can't remember if they've done an annual or not. It would be a huge omnibus. A Hulk-sized book. Omar, when are you going to dig deep and match Melanie's editing skills? And she's on, dude, you're going to call me out. She is a better editor than I am. I'm too busy filming and editing my own videos. I got to do the stupid X-Men reading order next. It's not stupid. I love it. I'm just, woo. This is going to be better than part 5 or part 4. Part 4 was rough. Part 5 is a little bit better. But is Sugar Man here? Why is everybody saying Sugar Man? Sugar Man. What did he say? Did he super chat me? I don't even see Sugar Man in the chat. Yeah, I don't see Sugar Man. Is he hashtag Rucka Punisher? I don't see him. No Sugar Man. Quanon or Betsy? Quanon with Betsy's accent. I said it. Marcus?
What's this about, sorry?
Quanon or it's Psylocke, so you have British Psylocke.
Oh, yeah. She's always got to be British for me, because obviously she's Captain Britain's related. So for me, if he's got a British accent, she has to have one. That's the way I lean on it.
Rebel, because I'm not a greedy man. That's why. Why not both? I'm not a greedy man. I'm cool. Sugar Man is a 243. Sugar Man is like above you. I read that as Astonishing Melanie and I Made a Baby, and I'm like, well, this is a weird way to find out. What do you think about Superior Spider-Man? I love it. It was in my most wanted Marvel Omnis of 2019. However, I took it off the list because I thought, you know what? We're living in the age of more completed era. So let's do Brand New Day first, get the big time, and then we get to Superior Spider-Man. But I love it. Like, it is the magnum opus of Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man. What about you, man? Did you like that run?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. That was another one that I was reading in single issues. But like yourself, I just hope we get the full run. I hope we get Brand New Day, Big Time. I even bought the complete collections of Gauntlet, but I want an omnibus of Gauntlet. Like, I just want it all because this is my, like, the era of Spider-Man where I want it even coming out weekly at one point. He was writing it that quickly.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much good storytelling in there that I think it deserves the treatment.
Would you say the first, Marcus and I just discussed this, would you say the first two X-Men Omnis are a must-read before Uncanny? Must-read? No. It's part of history, and if you want to read everything, absolutely, 100%. As somebody that I know how I am, I have to start at number 1. I'm crazy like that, especially now that there are collected editions. So yes, 100% go and read it. Is it necessary to enjoy Giant Size X-Men and moving forward? Not at all. Not at all. Omar, I don't care what they say. Don't talk pretty one day. You be you. Thanks, buddy. And on that note, I am getting hungry, and I gotta shoot another video and edit, not as well as my wife edits, but that's okay. I didn't know I was going to be called out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This was a lot of fun. Don't forget to hit like, share the video. And but before we go, Marcus, where can people find you, brother, when you're not hanging out with me?
You can find me over at my own channel, Maddogg Comics. Like I said, we're celebrating Image at the minute. I've got a Jim Lee video that I'm scripting at the minute that I'm hoping I can create some kind of hashtag about to get Jim Lee to watch it, like on the slimmest of slim chances. Just talk about, like, I tried to chart his career through 5 of his books, and I'm hoping to continue it for other creators as well. So I'd love to get like a recommendation for yourself maybe in the future. Like, give me a creator and I'll try and do it. If this Jim Lee one works out well, then that'd be good. But yeah, I'm also on Instagram at Maddogg Comics, Twitter, but I don't really use it. But yeah, I just wanted to say again, a massive thank you for having me on this. It's just so weird that this time last year, like, I was always just the guy, you know, watching you, and now I'm, like I said, sometimes I forget that I'm on these streams because I'm so used to just watching you on a stream that I'm sitting there like, and you're like, what do you think, Max? I'm like, oh wait, I'm here. Like, so thanks again for having me on.
Of course, man.
It really means a lot.
It's been a pleasure to have you on. So I'm glad we get to do this from time to time. And Ibsy was asking if I'll be on later. That's right. And I have an 8 o'clock show at 8 p.m. tonight. Was it better than the comic? We're going to be talking about Jupiter's Legacy. So that's at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
If you do Wanted, I would love to be on that because
yeah, you told me that. So of course,
Wanted's the maddest.
So everybody, please have a wonderful day and stay healthy, stay safe out there, and much love. I will be back at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. And that's it for now.